Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning into my podcast, Xena Life as a Dominatrix. This is episode 42. This will be aired on Tuesday, July 18th, 2023. Before I begin discussing today's topic, I just want to note that each and every of my podcast episode, I have a link that states support the show, and it leads to my Venmo page. Tips are not obligated, but tips are greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for supporting my show. Today's topic, BDSM and pop culture. I remember back in 2001 when I started, it was very underground. It was very, not mainstream at all. Very underground. There were very few dominatrixes in Chicago. So when I began as a dominatrix in Chicago back in 2001, I thought, oh, this is very risque. This is very underground. This is very naughty. I like this world a lot. And now in 2023, there are a lot of dominatrixes in Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, other various cities. And it's becoming more and more popular, more and more mainstream. And in the past, I have been asked to go on a few different talk shows. Each and every talk show, I turned them down. I just didn't want the host of the show to make a mockery of what I do. Do I regret turning down these opportunities? Not at all. Another time, a well-known band, I'm not saying which band, they had asked me if I wanted to be a part of their music video. It was going to be like a S&M oriented video. So I actually did say yes to them. I said, why not? Yes. So then they stated this video will be held in a hotel room. And then I said, you want a BDSM atmosphere in your video? The dungeon would work best. That was just my 2 cents. And they never got back with my idea or my proposal. So the video ended up coming out, and a friend of mine was actually chosen to be a part of the music video. I was happy for my friend. I listened to the music in the video. I enjoyed the visuals of the music video, but the music, But was I disappointed for not being chosen? Nah, it was like very mainstream, and I was still pretty underground, which I do like. I do recall Law and Order filming in my old neighborhood in Brooklyn, and in the past there's been scenes that are based on S&M acts, like a dominatrix and a slave, etc. Just for fun, I was almost tempted to go up and ask, you got any S&M episodes coming up? You need a space? I'm your gal. But I didn't ask them. I was like almost tempted, but I just prefer the privacy. I just prefer being private. But would I ever go mainstream? Let's just say I can't predict the future. So BDSM in the mainstream is occurring more and more. I'm for it, as long as there's a label that states 18 and over for adults only. Common in couples. Couples see a music video or a mainstream movie that incorporates BDSM, and they become inspired by the scene in the video. There have been recent studies that about 1/3 of couples, they incorporate elements of BDSM in their lovemaking. BDSM does require a great deal of self-revelation. It often enhances couples' intimacy. Aftercare, don't forget that. After spanking your partner, gently caress his or her backside. Give a hug, give a kiss on the cheek, kiss on the lips, wherever. Just some recommendations. Regarding music videos, I'm sure everyone's seen Rihanna's S&M video where she's tied up. Britney Spears wearing red latex catsuit in her music video, Oops, I Did It Again. Lady Gaga wearing latex in numerous videos, as well as Beyonce. A lot on their tours, they wear latex on stage, singing, dancing in latex, dancing in heels. More power to them. I can't even imagine how much sweat's in that suit in their suits when they go up there in front of a crowd of thousands in latex with the lights beaming on them and all that sweat in their suits. But they do work hard, and they do a great job at performance arts, performing for the audience. I'm not really that much into their music, but I like the visuals. I've noticed latex clad women, a woman actually, the singer wore latex in Two Unlimited's video No Limit. The video came out in the early 90s. I was a kid back then. And seeing this video, I believe it was on MTV. I was like, wow, look at her outfit. Beautiful. I was just like, I think it was the shininess of the outfit and it just grabbed me. It was just like, wow, she's so beautiful. And the singer, her name's Anita Doth. And the music video, No Limit by Two Unlimited. It's very techno. She's dancing. Her hair's beautiful. Her makeup's beautiful. Her outfit's beautiful. It's just very visually beautiful, basically. So music, you'll hear S&M oriented lyrics in the Velvet Underground's Venus and Furs. It's based on a book. Madonna's Erotica. Depeche Mode's Master and Servant. Lords of Acid's The Power Is Mine. Wendy O and the Plasmatics' Black Leather Monster. Yeah, regarding Madonna and like a lot of S&M in some of the music videos, and her book, I think it was called Sex or something. But I remember one of my friends, he was in I'm not saying who, I'm not saying which dungeon, but basically he was doing a scene, and after the scene, the dungeon owner came up to my friend and he was like, "Do you know who was just watching you? Madonna. She was just watching you do your scene." And my friend was like, "Ah, that's nice." He didn't care. And I think maybe she was at the dungeon to get some inspiration, some ideas. So yeah, and that's cool that, she was there. And I think this was in a New York dungeon. Fashion. Vivienne Westwood and Malcolm McLaren, they created BDSM inspired and punk fashion in the 70s back in England. Madonna wearing her bullet bra corset by Jean-Paul Gaultier. Jean-Paul and Versace has made high-end bondage dresses. The corsets are absolutely divine, especially with the attached garter belt, so you could have the option to hook on your stockings onto your garter belt. Oh, it's so sexy. The bondage dresses are absolutely gorgeous as well. Versace's color scheme leans more towards blacks and golds. Oh, I love their costumes, and their costumes have been in different museums. I think the Met. They have different fashion exhibits. I just recently was at the Met. I saw Karl Lagerfeld's exhibit, his clothing line for Chanel, and his personal creations. So beautiful. I'm trying to think. No, they were more like elegant costumes, not bondage costumes, not that I could remember. But Jean-Paul and Versace really lean towards like the bondage dresses, the bullet bras, super sexy. And there's one very famous fashion show where Madonna, she models for Jean-Paul Gaultier, and then she removes the top or something, and it's like a sheer bra, I believe, exposing her nipples, and the crowd goes nuts in the audience. Oh, it's on YouTube if you'd like to see it. So nowadays, like, people make fun of Madonna and how she looks, and I don't think that's right. What she did to her body, that's her choice. Who cares what she looks like? She's just very talented. I've always been a fan of hers, especially her music in the 80s, but regarding her surgeries, that's her choice, and I don't think that's right to make fun of somebody of how they look because of their surgery choice. Who gives a shit? But her talent is very, very much still there, and she was just in the hospital. Hopefully she's recovering quite quickly. All right, Leather Daddies in Al Pacino's 1980s New York City movie Cruising. I've never seen this movie before. I've never even heard of this movie until a few months ago. It was on one of the platforms. So I watched it. I was like, wow, fucking awesome. So, of course, Al Pacino did a great job because, well, he's Al Pacino. Of course, he did a great job. He's a great actor. The movie took place in New York City's meatpacking district back in the day. Back in the day, the meatpacking district was very gritty, very naughty, lots of sex, lots of naughtiness going on at night. Now there's an Apple Store, Sephora, Starbucks. It's very much different. And looking at the old footage of the meatpacking district, it's very run down, but now there's multi-million-dollar condos in that little neighborhood. And the dungeon in the scene in the movie, I believe it was the Hellfire. A lot of leather daddies strutting their stuff. There's a scene where Al Pacino's character enters an S&M shop. He looks at the handkerchiefs. He's curious to know, what's all this about? A black handkerchief is a symbol for sadomasochism. A gray handkerchief is a symbol for bondage in the handkerchief code, which is employed usually among gay male casual sex seekers or BDSM practitioners. Wearing the handkerchief on the left indicates that you're the top or the dominant or the active partner. If you wear the handkerchief on the right, you're the bottom, you're the submissive. Wearing a yellow handkerchief, you're into piss play, apparently, etc., etc. And the movie, well, he plays a undercover cop, and I'm not going to ruin the plot. You just have to watch it yourself. So my personal movie recommendations, these are mainstream movies. Some of them are underground, like this one movie. A lot of people have never heard of this movie. I really enjoyed watching this movie. It was gifted to me by one of my friends a long time ago. It's called Preaching to the Perverted. It was made in the 90s. It's with Guinevere Turner, Christian Unholt. Guinevere's character is called Tanya Cheeks. She's a New York City dominatrix. The plot is a little confusing at first, but my understanding of it when I first watched it, Christian's character played a nosy little man who tries to weasel his way into the BDSM scene. So the plot, it's basically about a minister that's on a crusade, and he hires a computer genius who is Christian to investigate unusual sexual activity in London. So there's a little bit of a comedic elements in this movie, but what drew me, the costumes, the visuals, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The latex on Tanya Cheeks, beautiful. Looking at the people inside the dungeon, very like, ooh, wow, beautiful. Or like fascinating when I first saw it, like, wow, this is so fascinating. I think I first received the movie, well, let's see, it was made in like the mid-90s, so I think I received it in the early 2000s. And watching it, I'm like, oh, cool, I'd like to do that in a dungeon. So it was a little inspiring for me as well. Next movie, Belle de Jour. This movie was made in the 60s. The title of the film is a play on words on the French term Belle de Nuit, which is beauty of the night or a prostitute. As Severin works during the day during the pseudonym Belle de Jour. She's a beautiful young housewife. Severin Cerisi cannot reconcile her masochistic fantasies with her everyday life alongside her husband Pierre. When her friend Henry mentions a secretive high-class brothel run by Madame Anais, how do you pronounce it? Anais, I believe, Anais. Severin begins to work there during the day under the name Belle de Jour, but when one of her clients, Pierre, grows possessive, she must try to go back to her normal life. Oh, normal's boring. Actually, just yesterday on the train, coming back from the village, I was sitting on the E train trying to get back to Queens, which I made it back to Queens. And I sat on the train, and there was this band that was sitting in front of me. I knew they were a band. They had a guitar, another instrument with them. And then they just flat out said, "You look normal." And then I'm like, "Play something for me." And this was like 11 p.m. at night, and I was already very tired on a Monday night. And they played something for me on the train in front of everybody. And it was just like silly, goofy music, and it was cute. It was pretty cute. But I thought, I look normal? Really? And they played something, and then I applauded them, and they got off on the next stop, and that was that. But I thought, I look normal? What? Normal's boring. But it was great that I made them play a little tune for me, and it was cute. It was silly, impromptu. The stuff you see in New York City, and the train can get very interesting, especially at night. All right, the next movie, Bound, took place in Chicago. It was created by the Wachowski brothers. Now they're sisters. This movie was made in the mid-90s. The movie is an intense, erotic crime thriller with Gina Gershon, who plays an ex-con who, after having a sexual liaison with her neighbor, Jennifer Tilly, they joined forces with her to dupe gangster boyfriend Joe Pantoliano. I think that's how you pronounce it. So they wanted to rob him out of $2 million of laundered loot. They planned to rob millions of dollars of stashed mob cash. And then their plot was to blame... Oh man, I'm revealing too much about this movie. Let's just say bondage is incorporated in this movie, romance. It's overall a thriller, and it is highly recommended. It's personally one of my favorites from the Wachowski sisters. They also made The Matrix and some other videos, but Bound was, I think, one of their first videos that they've made. They're from Chicago, the South Side. They just did a fantastic job. Excuse me, I'm just going to have to take a sip of my black coffee here. Very good. So, Bound is highly recommended, and I'm not sure what it did in the box office. Doesn't matter. It was fantastic. Yeah, so if you're into like action, mysterious thrillers, yeah, this is definitely one of the ones that I would definitely highly recommend. Another highly recommended movie is Secretary with Maggie Gyllenhaal and James Spader. This movie came out in the early 2000s. It's a young woman, Maggie Gyllenhaal. She was just released from a mental hospital. So then she gets a job as a secretary to a demanding lawyer who's played by James Spader, where the employer-employee relationship turns into a sexual and a sadomasochistic when you watch it, you just might think that James Spader's character is such a dick. There's a sense of emotional sadism in this movie, which really makes him look like a dick. So Maggie, she tries to get his attention. She tries desperately to be on his good side. She tries to do a great job. And I'm not going to say any more. You're just going to have to watch it if you've never watched it. The box cover is very nice. It's just a set of legs, beautiful legs. The legs are stockings, and it's supposed to be Maggie Gyllenhaal's character. And it's such a great movie, and it's highly recommended. Next movie, more of an underground movie called Matrice, French for mistress or teacher. This movie was made in the mid-70s. It's a young man, Gerald Gerald. Oh my God. So terrible at pronouncing these names. Let's just say it's a young man. He's in search of adventure that stumbles into a subterranean world of sadomasochism when he is implicated in a burglary of a Paris apartment. The apartment's mistress, played by Bulle, oh my God, I'm butchering these names, by Bulle Ogier, oh my goodness, played by the Dominatrix, let's just say that. She runs a 2-floor operation all above and a dungeon of clients below who seek her services. After the young man becomes her upstairs lover, she finds that the 2 levels of her carefully controlled existence begin to interfere with each other. Matrice examines the line between fantasy and reality, decadence and the distance one will go for love. It's such a great movie, and more underground. Not many people know of this movie. I can't pronounce the actors' names. Yeah, I tried. Gerald Depardieu and Bulle Ogier. Oh my goodness. I tried. And you just have to see it for yourself. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's such a great movie. Yeah, and it was made in the mid-70s in France, and it's so beautiful. I definitely recommend it. And check it out. Next movie, The Story of O. It's a society that specializes and indulges in all types of sexual fetishes and acts. If there's that O is trained to be a submissive and learns the ins and outs of bondage and sadomasochism. I haven't seen this in quite some time, actually. And I have it. Maybe I'll pop it in tonight. But it's a good movie. It's underground. Not many people know about it. But it's another recommendation. Yeah. And, of course, Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet, made in the 1980s. It's an incredible movie directed by David Lynch with Kyle MacLachlan, Laura Dern, Isabella Rossellini, Dennis Hopper, who plays a psychopath. With David Lynch films, sometimes the first time watching one of his films can be quite confusing and difficult to understand. When I first watched this movie, I thought Dennis Hopper played one scary dude, also one fucking pervert. So I got the lonely housewife, MILF vibe from Isabella Rossellini. Kyle, he played a nosy wannabe detective, but there's a lot more to the story. It's dark, it's mysterious, has elements of fetish, and I'm not going to spoil it for you. If you haven't seen it, it is highly recommended. And yeah, David Lynch is one unique director. Holy cow. Some of his movies are just like, I have to watch them over and over and over. Like Mulholland Drive, that was another movie by him. Took place in Los Angeles. Such a weird movie. And weird is good. I like weird. And of course, Twin Peaks. I think it was, when it was on TV, I think it was on ABC, but as a kid, I never watched it. I never got into it until, I purchased the box set, and I'm like, oh my God, I binge watched it, and I couldn't stop watching it. Like, David Lynch has, like, holy cow, like, and, I can't explain it. He's just such a unique director. And Kyle MacLachlan, nice dude in real life. He has a winery, and he sometimes goes on tour selling his wine in real life. And sometimes he'll pop up at a wine shop, do signings, and then some random fan will ask him something about one of his previous movies. So a friend of mine, he asked Kyle MacLachlan about Fire Walk with Me, I believe. And then he's like, I have no idea what that's about. Because he was in the movie and he doesn't even know what it's about. So David Lynch has that ability to take actors into, I don't know, I can't explain it. It's just such a, he's just such a different director. I can't explain it. He's so unique. I like his movies a lot. Some of them are just so weird, but Blue Velvet is probably one of my favorites, I would say, and Mulholland Drive by him. But Blue Velvet, I'm not going to spoil it anymore. Um, you just have to watch and see. And yeah. Next movie, The Notorious Betty Page. Betty is played by Gretchen Mol as the model who brought BDSM into the public light with her famed photos. She poses both a dominatrix dishing out punishment and a submissive who receives the punishment. Her real life is fascinating, provocative, and mysterious. And I think I watched it at the theater when it came out, but the actress really did a great job playing Betty Page. She looked just like her. And I have the movie somewhere on my shelf. It's a great movie. I definitely recommend it. And when they, I think there was a Betty Page documentary I watched as well. And the funeral, I believe it was organized by Hugh Hefner. And there were just very few people at her funeral. She was a very famous model back in the day, pin-up, underground model. And to see her funeral was very sad, like the footage of her funeral. It was very sad, and very few people were there. It was just very private to honor the life of Betty Page. And yeah, but the movie, The Notorious Betty Page, I definitely recommend. And I remember when I was like in my late teens, early 20s, I'd have Betty Page posters, memorabilia of Betty Page. I'm actually looking at a book on Betty Page, like a like an old like pinup book on Betty Page. Just so beautiful, so inspiring, and she was like the Marilyn Monroe of pinup. Like a lot of actresses back then and currently, they like to look like Marilyn Monroe. They look up to Marilyn Monroe, and currently there's a lot of pinup women who look up to Betty Page. So, yeah, but Marilyn Monroe, Betty Page, two totally different people, but very beautiful. And yeah, and actually I just watched a Marilyn Monroe documentary on Netflix on her life, and all kinds of conspiracies on how she passed away. Nobody will know. And yeah. All right, so next movie, Catwoman, Batman, Catwoman, Batman in the 90s. So Michelle Pfeiffer played Catwoman. So I like the movie, I like the action, but mainly I like the character. Michelle Pfeiffer played Catwoman. Back then I was instantly attracted to her look, her voice, how she transformed into Catwoman. Like, that image just stuck with me. Like, as a kid, I was like so infatuated by how she walked, how she cracked that whip, how shiny her cat suit was. Oh my goodness. How she meowed, how her acting, her presence. Michelle Pfeiffer is such a great actress, and she played Catwoman pretty well. And back then people would say, oh, Julie Newmar I prefer as Catwoman, or Eartha Kitt. They also played fantastic Catwomans, of course. But when I was a kid watching Batman, like, as a kid, I'd never seen I'm trying to think if I saw the Julie Newmar Catwoman or the Eartha Kitt. That I don't remember, but what I do remember is Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. And when I was a kid seeing that, I was like, wow. Just the costumes and how she presented herself was beautiful. Just absolutely beautiful. Great acting. And another movie I just saw with Michelle Pfeiffer, of course, Scarface, with, of course, Al Pacino, both great actors. And Scarface is one of my favorites from Al Pacino. He it's it's the mob movie. It's the poster movie, like mob inspired. It's such a great action movie for sure. And Michelle Pfeiffer does a great job. Al Pacino, of course, a great job. Anyway, getting back to Catwoman. I love that movie. I love the look and yeah, the crack of that whip. So books, these books you could find on Amazon or at maybe the bookstore. I'm not sure, but the Story of O and Venus and Furs. So if you're into BDSM literature, you want to read more, I would recommend these books for sure. And I'm not sure if you could find them at your local bookstore. Oh, there was another movie I forgot to mention, and this movie was banned in a lot of places. And I received this movie in the early 2000s, and the movie was Marquis de Sade, and a friend of mine back then, he gave it to me. He's like, yeah, this movie, it's banned everywhere. This is, a great movie. And I popped it in, and it was, I don't, okay, I'm just gonna say, and just like the 50 Shades of Grey, I don't recommend, I mean, sure, some people have, interests in some movies, and let's just say I'm just not interested in the movie 50 Shades of Grey or Marquis de Sade. It's just hard to watch Marquis de Sade when I first watched it, and I think I only watched maybe 15 minutes of it, and I couldn't watch it anymore. And then I don't know why I kept the DVD. I kept it. I don't know why, and I think I think I threw it out since then, but I kept it for a while. I think maybe because I wanted to maybe watch it again, but I think that the DVD cover just collected. No, it wasn't a cover. It was a burnt DVD that he gave me. It wasn't an actual DVD. It was a burnt DVD. And when I watched it, let's just say, I was disturbed. I was disturbed by it, and I couldn't watch the rest, like only 15 minutes of it, and that's it. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about, and it's just a movie I don't recommend, but it's not even mainstream. It's very underground and very, that's all I'll say about it. And regarding 50 Shades of Grey, the movie just doesn't interest me. It's very mainstream. It made millions of dollars at the box office. I think the actress is beautiful. I don't remember her name. She's the daughter of, oh my goodness, Melissa. Oh my goodness. I forgot to look it up. I can't remember her name, but I think she's pretty. And I never saw the movie, but I'm sure she did a great job at portraying the character in 50 Shades of Grey, the book, written by E.L. James, I believe. But some people have their go-to movies or their recommended movies, and those two movies, they're just, I don't, I just don't care for it. Let's see. So BDSM, in, like I mentioned earlier, Betty Page, the most commercial pinup model ever. Watching her documentary, and her life, The Notorious Betty Page. photographers. Robert Mapplethorpe, New York City photographer back then. He those who enjoy documentaries, there's a documentary based on his life, and it's very much S&M oriented photography, very underground, pornographic, very beautiful photography, and I like his work. And negative. So this made the news actually a couple months ago, and I was like, what the fuck? It was basically a photo of this kid, a child, and this child was petting a human pup or two. I think there were two of them. Someone posted this footage online. They blurred the child's face, luckily. This took place at a Pride event. So my comment on that fetish is for 18 and over only. No child should be exposed to fetish. I don't know what the parent was thinking, letting her child pet these human puppies. And I mean, sure, they were probably there at Pride to show off their puppy pride or whatever. But I really have a problem with seeing images like somebody underage being exposed to fetish, and I think that's totally wrong. Another story, this story I read from the New York Post. This was about some dominatrix that drugged her client, almost killing him. And basically this quote-unquote dominatrix gives a bad name to dominatrixes. Not cool. Not cool at all, and hopefully she's in jail. And another story I recall, this college student in Chicago, he was tying up his girlfriend, causing the girlfriend to get hurt. He was inspired by reading the book 50 Shades of Grey. With rope, you have to know what you're doing. With rope bondage, you can't just tie somebody up and cut off their circulation. That's not cool. S&M, it's all about safe, sane, and consensual. So that's about it with BDSM and pop culture. I discussed a lot, my movie recommendations, some music videos with BDSM, S&M imagery, beautiful, and a couple movies I don't recommend, and that's just my intake. And yeah, this was a great topic to talk about. So if you all have any questions about this particular episode, you're more than welcome to write me a message. And again, I do have a link to my Venmo page. You'll see the link. It'll state support the show today, and it leads to my Venmo page. Tips are not obligated, but tips are appreciated. So thank you for supporting my show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And you all have a great day. Take care, everybody.